Hello and welcome to A New Pace. I'm your host, Lesley, and today I am delighted to have Claire with me from Inside Nature Wellbeing. And Claire Marshall is a nature-based psychotherapist, EcoNidra teacher, and forest therapy guide. I've been fortunate enough to join some of her events outside in nature, and so actually it feels really different speaking to her when we're both inside. So welcome, Claire.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So what I wanted to speak to you about is just like having a sense and sharing what you do with people that might not have met you and might not really have an understanding of really the benefits of being in nature and the depth of that for your role. So when you talk about sort of being sort of a nature-based psychotherapist, I was kind of thinking about, in a very simplistic term, very similar to me being an art psychotherapist, nature psychotherapist. There's something about those parts coming together. How would you how did you get started with it? What is it about the nature part that intrigues you?
So, how I found out about it was by pure coincidence. I was applying to do my master's in psychotherapy and I had my proposal written out. It was all ready to go. And then I saw somebody's post in a counselling Facebook group that I'm in that had said something like, "Oh, this is my office for the day," and it was a picture of the outside, and I was just like, hang on a minute, like what is this? Like I don't like being inside the small boxy rooms. Like, is this something that is a thing? So I spoke to them. I had a little look at what it was, did some reading, and I thought, okay, this is something that really feels like it fits better with me. So I changed my proposal application with like a week to go for the deadline into, instead of, I think I was going to do something like creative ways to work with self-harm in young people. And I changed it to taking psychotherapy outdoors and the impact that the therapeutic relationship when the walls of the counselling room are removed. And I've never looked back since. It was one of the best things I've ever done. There's taking psychotherapy outside, there's just so many benefits to that. If you struggle with eye contact, it can feel really intense when you're in a room. We sit with the chairs at 45 degrees to each other so that you don't have to look directly at someone, but it's still there, that awkwardness. You're kind of like knee to knee. It's a bit, yeah, it can be a bit intimidating, but when you go outside, we're shoulder to shoulder, we're both looking forwards. Yes, we're going to turn and look at each other as we're walking, but it's a much more relaxed. It kind of creates a better or more balance, more of a balanced kind of power dynamic between you and the client. And that's just a benefit of being outside or being side by side. A lot of people say, like, oh, when they're in the car, that's when they can have the best conversations with their partner or their kids, because they don't have to look at each other. And it's the same kind of process. But what I found out in my research was it's not about just being outside. Like, yes, just being outside is good and it can be helpful with those things, but actually we want to intentionally be outside. We want to bring nature into that dynamic as well, almost as the third person in the therapeutic relationship. And that's when things take an even deeper a turn in it. Nature provides words for us when we can't vocalize how we're feeling. It can there's always a metaphor in every walk I'm with someone. We've got endless resources at our fingertips that are just there when it's needed. It doesn't need to be planned, in a therapeutic way. It needs to be planned in a, what is the weather going to be like and which way we're going to go and is everybody going to be safe. So there are a lot of things there, and especially around confidentiality, that can be very tricky to navigate. Yeah, it's I forgot what the question was.
It was, yeah, it's okay. I feel like you've kind of given a really good picture of what that's like. And I was really conscious of, like, when you started to share your experience of that pivot, really, I was thinking, hang on a minute, I feel like I've complicated this by suggesting the parallels between art therapy and nature psychotherapy. But actually there is some truth in that. And I think the reason why I mentioned that is just what you'd said about that third person in the room, in that psychotherapy space. Often the talking therapy is like somebody talking, somebody listening, a therapist and a client. But then the nature becomes that third person.
Yeah.
And that's the theories of art therapy align with that. However, there's something really different about nature being there compared to art being created. And so actually it feels like really important to really acknowledge the power of nature, and that, like, yeah, it's so important, isn't it?
Yeah, nature's there whether we acknowledge it or not, but when we do acknowledge it, it really kind of like deepens that relationship. It's almost like therapy in HD. Like I don't know how else to describe it. I'm trying to remember what I put in my conclusion for my dissertation, and I think it was something like, it was like the equivalent of buying the luxury car with all the added extras. Like a normal car is going to still get you from A to B. It's going to help you do the work that you want to do in the therapy room, but you could do it in a lot more comfort with a lot more accessibility. So it's kind of like you've got the leather seats and the air conditioning and the sat nav, and
Oh, I love that metaphor. And I was thinking about, say, if you've got all this luxury stuff and these details in your car, but hadn't pressed the switch to turn the air conditioning on, or you hadn't found like the lights, or you hadn't found the heated seats, or you hadn't found those things that make it special. That makes me think about how somebody could be walking through nature and just go, it's just my park, it's my local park, compared to actually opening your eyes, turning on the air conditioning, so to speak, and really witnessing nature. So when I've joined your events, it's the campfire retreats events, one of the activities that we do is walking very slowly through nature. And I find this really hard. I kind of find that I've got to really deliberately walk slowly. So what would you say are those benefits of just really, really slowing down?
So, yeah, you're not the only one that struggles with that. It is difficult because it's against what we are used to. Like when we think I'm going for a walk, we think, oh, I've got to walk the dog, or I'll just get it in between these meetings, or I'm going for a run and I've got to beat my personal best. Like there's always, I've got to, in my case, I've got to get to the cafe before it closes. Like there's always something that does rush us, and we're not taking in what's around us. And when we do slow down, we do get to engage all of our senses. We do get to see things that we might not have seen before. And actually, like during lockdown, when me and my husband would go out for our daily walks, he would stop and want to take pictures of a plant or a leaf, and I'm like, no, we've got to get in. It's a half an hour exercise. And I was the one that was saying, we've got to hurry up, I don't want to stop. But then I realized actually it's more fun to stop, because you get to see all the different types of butterflies and find a new patch of blackberries to pick at the end of the summer. So it is really important to slow down, and what that does is it slows our mind as well. It helps us become present in the moment. We're always trying to do so many different things at once, and everybody's wanting a piece of our time. So it's allowing us to just become present in the moment, to be able to just focus on the one task at once, which in turn, that's going to reset our nervous system. It's going to give us that sense of safety, that we're not rushing. It's our body's able to just go at this gentle pace. So you might notice that your heart rate slows down. You might notice that your breathing's slowed as well, that you feel calmer. And it's so hard it's so easy, to overlook that, because we are constantly just kind of on the go, rushing, busy, trying to do 15 things at once. So yeah, it's really important to try and slow down, as hard as it is. But I think that's why with the forest therapy walks, it's the way it's structured. Each invitation slows you down a little bit more. We're not going straight into stopping. We're going to do a little bit to ground, we're going to do a little bit to slow our pace, and then we're going to start really connecting with nature.
Yeah, it's so important, isn't it, that, like just slowing down and just taking time to pause. And that's, the pause element of pace, which is one of the reasons why I sort of invited you along, because I knew that it connected with that. But then I was thinking about actually times when maybe the seasons matter, or you can really connect with the seasons. So like regular questions would be like, well, what is your favorite season, and what is it about those seasons? And like, we're recording more towards the end of the summer, but this episode might be like, the season might be changing by the time this episode's published. So is there something about the seasons that can help us to maybe, I don't know, something about the seasons that can help us to connect with ourselves and like connecting with nature at different times? How would that be?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Nature's got messages for us at all times of the year, and sometimes we have kind of pushed that away, as kind of industry has taken its place, as kind of civilization has evolved. We've come away from that kind of living with the land and all of those messages, and we've kind of blocked it out. And you'll find that people now crave different seasons, because different seasons give us different things to be focusing on. And so when we're feeling a little bit lost and disconnected, it's really interesting to just think, okay, wait, why don't you stop, look out of the window? What is nature doing at the moment? What is it telling us? So things like summer is full of long days. We've got warm weather, we've got a lot of sunshine. It's a day of productivity, a time of productivity. It's a time of busyness, because that's when everything's in bloom. First harvest has happened. If you look at the farmers' fields, they are bringing everything in. They are everything's in abundance, and that's kind of the sort of time where we think, okay, we've got to be productive, we've got to get stuff done, we've got so much time to fill. Personally, hate summer, because I don't want to be a busy person, I don't want to be rushing. And then you look at winter, and a lot of people hate winter because it's shorter days, it's cold, it's dark, there's not much happening in nature. But that's just on the surface. On the surface in winter, everything looks quite bare. But what has happened is nature has let go. Autumn's happened. It's let go of what it no longer needs. It's sent everything back to the ground. It's done its preparations of storing food for the winter. And then winter comes, and it's all under that surface level. All the nutrients are going back into the soil. Everything's being recharged. Everything's resting. Everything's finding a slower pace. That is my favorite time, because I like to be slow and gentle and intentional. But all of that is in preparation for the spring, when things can start blooming again. And that's a time for kind of setting the seeds. So like, you're starting to sow things, you're preparing the ground for what's to come in the summer. So if you live near a field that a farmer looks after, follow what's going on in that field. Notice what is happening when it's full, when it's empty, when it's recharging. Because that's what we need to do. We follow all sorts of cycles. Women have their own cycles. We live closely with the moon cycles, and those cycles of nature are really, really important. We want to be taking our lead from nature in those times. And we do need more sleep in the winter. We do need more time to rest and to recharge. I think I was something else, but I can't remember what it was.
I love that. And I just think sometimes it's just an important reminder, isn't it, just to embrace the natural cycles of our lives, and recognize that things aren't permanent, that even after the darkest night, the sun still shines, those kind of things, and the seasons change. And like, nevertheless, somebody might still struggle with different seasons, and like maybe be mindful of of it getting dark and cold and struggle with that. So actually that message to sort of look within and allow yourself to slow down and allow yourself to maybe a space to reflect. I think I find winter.
Yeah, it's leaning into it as well, isn't it? Like, if you don't like the dark, then bring that light in yourself. Like, where can you find the light? Is it a case of putting fairy lights up? I mean, we keep fairy lights up in our living room all year round because we like how cozy it feels. They're not just for Christmas.
I like that.
Leaning into that practice of, I never know whether I'm saying it right, Hygge, where it's the art of being cozy. And that's so important during the winter. Like, go out, embrace the cold, but come back in and get warm. Put the fluffy socks on, get the extra blanket out, have a hot chocolate, light the candles, light the fire. You know, that's what makes it special. And again, that's what nature does. If you think about the squirrels and or the other animals that go into hibernation, you know, they're eating the comfort food. They've made their nest. They've kind of got all of the things around them that they want to have for that time. So there's always something that can be done in each season. But it's understanding what you need, because not everybody needs the same things.
Yeah, and it's when you go in with the seasons rather than sort of against them.
Yeah. If you're constantly, sorry, it got really sunny. I've just not said.
Oh, it's all right. I was thinking it's got really dark over here.
Try not to fight the season, I guess. Like, so I was saying that I don't really like summer because it's loud and bright and noisy and busy. So I just make sure that I've got time in there that I can rest, that I can switch off, that I don't feel that need to be productive all the time. Like, my productivity doesn't need to be enough for lots of people. It just needs to be enough for me in those times, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And it might mean that sometimes I do shut the curtains and not look at the sun. But other times it might be that I go outside and I go into the woods where I am sheltered from the sun, but I still get to be outside. I still get to see the abundance of everything.
Yeah, there's that assumption, isn't there, that certain weathers have different meanings, like connecting to your emotions. And it's a really nice day, it's really sunny, get yourself out and make the most of the day. And that pressure isn't always helpful, is it? Sometimes having a bit of encouragement to go outside and do those things can be really good. And it's like you say, actually, for somebody that's maybe feeling a little bit out of sync or finding a certain time of year challenging, there's always something to do. Like, I really appreciate that. So if somebody was maybe struggling to get out in nature, or struggling to, maybe didn't really know where to go, or didn't really know how to start to sort of look at things and be in nature, what would you suggest?
So something for them to do by themselves.
Yeah, because I mean, we can talk a bit more about what you do in a minute, but just like, say, if I was like, encourage me to go outside now, what would you advise?
Okay. So first of all, if you were comfortable with going outside, because there's a way we can do this as a step before actually going outside if we need to.
I'm curious about that step first then, actually.
Okay, we'll do that first. So if going outside feels a bit too much, it feels too daunting to go for a walk by yourself, there's plenty of ways that you can bring nature into you. So we still get very similar benefits from looking at views of nature that we do whilst we're outside. So having pictures up of nature, having a view out of your window, that's still going to bring you the same kind of benefits that are going to reduce your anxiety, that are going to improve your mood, your cognition, your creativity. We can still get that from pictures. So in some of my clinical work, I'm in a windowless office, and either my desktop picture on my computer is one of my favorite places in nature. So I've always got something to look at. So that's a small thing that you could do. You could open your windows, get some fresh air in, bringing houseplants if you're so inclined. And also, like, sometimes, like, the first step I would say to people is just open your door, have a cup of tea on your back doorstep, or sit in the garden if that feels feels safe to do so. It doesn't have to always be a big, massive 4-hour hike straight away. You know, these small things make small differences, which can have big impacts. And then once that feels okay, I would say something that's really quite easy to do is to find a place to have a sit spot. So this could be in your garden, it could be in your local green space, it could be in the woods, it could be somewhere a little bit further afield, but just somewhere that you can go that's accessible, that you can spend maybe 15-20 minutes at a time. Again, if that feels a lot, like start off with just 5 minutes, just 5 minutes and have a cup of tea. Don't put any music on, don't read a book, just spend time in nature, in that space, and just run through your senses. Like, what are you aware of? What can you see? What can you smell? What can you taste? What can you hear? What can you feel? And go back to that sit spot, different times of day, different times of year. Like, how is it changing? What's around you? Like, get to know the trees that are around you, or the plants that are coming up, or maybe there's the same kind of animals are visiting you. Maybe there's a robin, or the crows are always flying over, or you see rabbits or something, you know, whatever it is. Like, that's just you connecting with nature. You're getting to know the space that's around you. You don't need any equipment to do it. You don't even need a lot of time. It's just, a very simple thing. I'm going to say simple instead of easy, because some people might not find that easy to sit still, or to be alone with their thoughts. But taking it steady, take it small amounts of time to start with.
So that kind of those steps, from something as simple as opening a window, drawing your curtains, bringing like maybe some flowers in from the garden, or like have a house plant, to then stepping outside, going for a little walk. Like my walk around the block's about 1 kilometre, so it's like somebody might find the equivalent of that, or walk to the end of the street, or sit in the garden, and just a really, really short time just to acknowledge that you're outside. And then as somebody becomes more familiar with that and they're wanting to do more, what would they be doing?
So that's when you might do longer walks outside. You might go further afield to different types of places. So one thing that I find really quite interesting is that different environments are helpful for different types of things. So with clients, I always offer them the option of like an open space near a body of water, or within the woods. So they all bring different things. So if I'm feeling really overwhelmed, or my head's really loud, I want to go to a really open place where I know there's always going to be a bit of a breeze, and I like to go there on a really windy day, because I feel like it just blows everything away from me. So that would be my next thing. Like, if I'm seeking comfort, I want to be in the woods, I want to be cocooned in. So then, that next step will be understanding what different environments mean for you, what you need for different emotions, what you need at different times of year, and what your reaction is to them. What do you get from that? Because again, it's different for everybody. Like, if it's, I would love to go on a walk and get caught in the rain and just be maybe not absolutely soaked, because I probably wear waterproofs, but I like that feeling. That feels really cleansing to me. But other people might want to sit out in the sun and feel the heat of the sun on their face, because that's what they need to feel like they've warmed up, to feel like they're, I don't know, like a pigeon in the morning when they need the sun to get them going, so understanding what kind of environment suits you in different moods.
And I suppose that's going to take a bit of testing out, isn't it, for somebody? They might not instantly be thinking, like, maybe letting go of the pressure that sunshine means that you're going to feel happy, sort of thing. Things like that, or it's really cloudy and rainy, so you shouldn't go out. So getting rid of those kind of things, and just having that courage to go out and experience those different things, and to notice. Self-awareness is so important, isn't it? And one of those things that you do talk about is connecting helping people to connect with themselves,
Mm-hmm.
as well as connecting with nature and connecting with others.
Yeah.
But what is there anything that you've sort of, maybe common things that people have maybe noticed when they've connected with themselves about that?
I find that a lot of people don't know what the question is before they go into nature, but then not only do they find the answer, they find the question as well. So they might start off on a walk and they might not really know what they want to get from the session, or might not know what they're looking for. But after a bit of time, they find what they need, basically. Whatever nature provides, it's usually kind of something that gives them that real, like, okay, I didn't realize that that's what I was missing until I found it kind of moment. I can't think of any specific examples on the spot.
I think that kind of really captured it, doesn't it? That's because I was thinking that there might be times when somebody's maybe, I want to go out and I want to feel calmer, or I want to go to maybe one of your events and want to feel more grounded, or get some inspiration, or get some more energy. But then actually that's maybe on the surface, and what's really going on is underneath of something more like, something more healing, or more sort of integral to their identity. But actually, like that question might not come out until you find the answer, or see like subtleties of that.
Yeah, and it can be very gentle, like it's not always glaringly obvious, but sometimes it is just that, okay, I found this nature being that reminded me of this situation, and actually I'd forgotten about it, and it brought me a lot of comfort. Or comfort is something that does come up, and that sense of belonging, that they feel like they've kind of met themselves in nature as well, that they've had that chance to feel accepted, and that it's okay to not know all the answers and to not know all the questions.
Yeah, I like that, and I think it sort of makes us maybe step out of these power imbalances that we have in life when we're all connected to nature and we're all part of nature. That feels really refreshing, and I've really enjoyed times when I've just maybe walked without any shoes on or something, or when I've like maybe like sometimes when I've ran around a field or something, or sometimes when I've just sat and kind of stared at a twig or something. It's just like there's not really an explanation. There's not something cognitive that is the explanation.
So it's almost just like that freedom, that there is no expectation right now. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, of course. So how would you describe the things that you do, like the activities that you do, the things that people are drawn to? How might people work with you, sort of thing?
Okay, so I think sometimes this is where it can get confusing. So I've got various different hats, but it's all kind of the similar strain, if that makes sense. So I do one-to-one nature-based psychotherapy outdoors. That is just like traditional therapy, but we're outside and we're going to bring nature elements into it. It's encouraged. It's not enforced. It's just like any other technique. If the person really doesn't want to look at a stick, or I always say to people, like, I won't make you hug a tree, but if you want to, like, I'm all for it. So that's the one-to-one work that I do with clients who they might be stuck, they might be anxious, depressed, stressed, there might be intrusive thoughts, they might be just going through a hard time. That's the one-to-one work that I do there. And then I have, so that's psychotherapist head. Then we've got forest therapy, which is super confusing because it's got therapy in the title. But but we say like the forest is the therapist, and the guide, which would be myself, opens the doors. So for that, I do the campfire retreats, which is a forest therapy walk. You get a homemade lunch, and then in the afternoon we do a craft activity or a meditation, or something based around the season. So that is for a small group. It's not therapy. It's just a way to interact with nature to foster your well-being. There's a lot of therapeutic benefits, but it's not, I'm going to come tell you my problems and I will therapize you. Like, it's not like that, but there is space to talk. And then, so they're the main things. And then I do like other little bits. So for the I do EcoNidra and Reiki evening once a month with Emily, who's a Reiki master, and I would guide people through an EcoNidra meditation. We then alternate between each month. 1 month she'll do a self-care ritual, 1 month I do a nature invitation, so we kind of mix it up a little bit. And then new and exciting things coming in September. Myself and Zoe, who is a nature-based occupational therapist, are starting a talking circle called Whispers of the Wild, which is all about promoting seasonal living. That space to talk. It's going to be a group session for 2 hours up at Zoe's cabin, which is near Hemsworth. So that's a space to just for people to come and talk about what's going on. Again, you might be feeling a bit anxious, you might be feeling a bit stressed, you might be just going through a bit of a shitty time. It's a safe space to come and talk, where confidentiality is really kind of held with importance. And then we will kind of bring into that, okay, this is how nature can help us in these situations. So that's kind of a step before therapy. That makes sense. It's not a substitute for therapy, but actually it's a really helpful peer support group for people as well.
Yeah. And those collaborations and like feel really important for you, but also like maybe the different approaches coming together, they seem to like gel really well, the sort of like that, but nice balances.
Yeah, I think that's something that's important to me. I'd wanted to set up a talking circle for a while, and I remember grilling Zoe. I'm like, right, okay, what is it that you do? Like, I don't really understand occupational therapy, and she told me a lot about it, and it made sense. Then I'm like, okay, I have this idea, and I think that you'd be really good with for it, because I was gonna just do it by myself, but when I went on some training, they suggested that it's really useful to have 2 facilitators, and I was like, oh, who can I do that with? Because it scares me a lot of these women's circles and things that are out there that people just kind of come and trauma dump, and it never feels quite safe. So I really wanted to make sure that what we were creating was really safe for both the participants and for ourselves as well, that we can hold whatever people might talk about. But yeah.
It sounds like it sounds like it's just really grounding and really like good with managing people's expectations. And actually everyone's going to have different preferences. Some people might like something that is much more structured. Somebody might like something that's much more free-flowing, and having that balance and coming in and seeing what you do and if it fits for them be really helpful to lean into. So I'm really curious about maybe some things about like common myths that you kind of hear about. So like people might be thinking a certain thing about nature, or they might be kind of assuming certain things. Can you think of any like real common ones, or any that you maybe like just general myths about sort of spending time in nature and nature psychotherapy that you want to sort of debunk?
Okay. So a common one around like the forest therapy and the forest bathing is that people think that we actually like go for a swim, or that we take our clothes off. That doesn't happen. We're fully dressed the whole time. and we're not in water. Some people might kind of have wild swimming and forest bathing together, but that is not what I do. So that's probably like the most common one. With regards to the psychotherapy outdoors, I guess the biggest myth is that you can't do it, that it's not ethical, that you are not able to keep the space confidential. All of that is very much possible. I work in public spaces. There are other people around. The clients that I work with are all very aware of that at the beginning. It's in my contracts. We talk about it in the assessment before we even meet outside. In my research, that was a big thing that I looked at as well. Like, how do people keep it confidential? And what the consensus was that people who are signing up to or reaching out for outdoor therapy are very aware of outdoors. And how I protect confidentiality within my own client work is that I make sure that I know different routes that we're able to go where the client feels comfortable, where it's not too busy. They can also fall silent at any point, and we talk about this a lot in the first session, so that they understand if at any point they think that, sometimes you get it really awkward where you're just walking at the same pace as someone else and you can't overtake them and you can't really fall back. We would stop. We would just step off the path, let them get ahead of us, or we turn around. There's always an opportunity for a client to come away from a situation. And we do a lot of talking around what we would do if we bumped into anyone we know, and how we would handle that. And I've been doing this for 5 years now, and I've only ever bumped into somebody that I know once and somebody that a client has known once. So it's so rare that you're going to be in the same place at the same time as someone you know. But it's something that is thought about, like we are aware of what could happen. So that is one. And then like a general nature myth is, I guess, like, that there's no such thing as bad weather. It is just bad clothing and bad preparation.
Oh yeah.
So I will go out with clients in any weather, apart from the ones that my insurance company tell me I'm not allowed to work in. So like they deem it unsafe to work in thunderstorms, high winds, ice, extreme heat, and thunder and lightning. So unless it's doing any of those things, I will be outside. I have things that can support clients in that as well. So say this happens quite a lot. I've got a session with a client booked in. We get there. When they set off, they thought it was a nice sunny day, but they didn't bring a coat. But by the time they get to the session, they might be in a different part of the city and it started to rain. So I've got 2 umbrellas, big golf umbrellas in the back of my car. I've got spare waterproofs, I've got spare hat, gloves and scarf, bottles of water, first aid kits, you name it, that is in my car in case a client needs it. And that offers them a lot of peace of mind. Like, I've had people say to me, like, well, what do you do if it rains? And I'm like, well, I just put a coat on. Like, well, what would you do if you were going to the shops and it was raining? You'd just put your coat on. If a client didn't feel comfortable being out in that, they've always got the opportunity to come inside to my den, or we can go online. So there's always, I've gone off tangent again, sorry. There's always ways around these things. There's never really anything that cannot be dealt with. Worst case scenario, we have to cut a session short. And again, I think in the whole 5 years I've been doing this, that's happened once, and wasn't because of weather. But yeah.
So with weather and this idea of, this got to be resilient and got to just, there's no bad weather, just like you're not wearing the right clothes and things like that. There's maybe something that puts people under pressure to do things the right way, rather than or feeling a bit of like a sense of shame that they don't want to go outside in the rain, or that they don't want to be going on a long walk when they don't and get wet, because actually society tells us to keep going in all of those sorts of things. Although when in an extreme situation, of course, if there's been like a big hurricane or something like that, then suddenly there's an allowance for it. Whereas what I'm hearing from you, Claire, is that recognizing where somebody's at emotionally is really important, and recognizing how they might feel in terms of their own levels of safety, their own body, their own like state of mind, what in that moment, like what they're used to and what feels right. So I'm really appreciative that you've debunked that, because I bet that there will be people that just go, oh, I've got, like, there's something wrong with me because I don't want to go outside in the rain or in the snow or something. I just want to curl up, which is what we were saying before about the seasons, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, knowing how you feel in different weathers as well. Like, it is perfectly fine to be able to say, you know, like, today is not a day I want to be outside, but you can appreciate the weather from inside. You can appreciate nature from inside, and recognizing your needs and stuff. And I think that's one thing that I like hold really important with my clients. Like, if they don't want to be outside, I just ask that they give me an hour's notice for us to change to online or in person, and that hour's just there so that I can get back from wherever I am if I'm already out, or if I maybe need to have a quick tidy up if they're coming inside. But yeah, they always have that option, no matter what. They don't have to give me a reason. It can just be, you know, I'm just not feeling being outside today. Can we meet inside? Can we meet online? And that's fine.
Yeah, and that's fair. And it's, you know, it's respecting your boundaries as well, to be able to have some time to be able to manage it for you, which I think is really important, rather than it being just at the drop of the hat. You're maybe in that car park meeting somebody at the venue, and then it's like on that on that minute that you're due to meet them, they suggest online. And actually you'd need to then be in a confidential space for it to be online, and, you know, suitable internet and all of those sorts of things.
Yeah, and that's, it's not all, I'm not always just round the corner from home either. Some of the locations are about half an hour away from me, so it's not always that easy to do it without that hour's buffer.
Yeah, and I was thinking about kind of, you know, you as a psychotherapist, you sort of working with people who experiencing different challenges, and the impact that can have on us. Like, as a therapist myself, I know that. So I'm curious about what your sort of go-to things are for your self-care. If there's certain things that you lean towards, or certain things that you've tried and maybe thought that's not really for me.
Yeah, I do a lot of different things. So for me, being in nature is really helpful. And I find that when I'm out working in nature, I'm not taking as much home with me anyway. Like, I'm processing at the same time the client is. So that's really helpful in managing my kind of emotional levels afterwards. I like anything crafty. I like to crochet. I like to make art in like a cut and stick kind of way. I like reading. What else do I do? Baking, sewing. I'm looking to see what like hobby stuff I've got lying around the room. Lots of different things. I have supervision once a month as well, which is not only a requirement, it's just really incredibly helpful to see my supervisor and just discuss kind of where I am with my caseloads and everything.
Because that can be a really a good way of filling your own cup as well, because like, you might be talking about some clinical things, and that might be quite like have an impact on you, and processing those things and being able to be like your best self can, of course, put you in a place where you can really help people fully. But also it's kind of really helping you to just be witnessed and be understood in those moments. Is that because that's how I experience my sort of clinical supervision, my art therapy supervision, and like, I find that. So it sounds similar.
Yeah, definitely. It's always kind of like, there's always like a little bit of kind of time where we just check in with me and make sure I'm doing okay as well, which is really, really helpful, I think, sometimes. And then, of course, when I do need it, I do go for my own therapy too. So.
Yeah, that's the thing, that sometimes people like find that they're the ones that are helping other people. They're the ones that are like, they might advise other people that you need to be looking after yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup and all of that. And therapists are the worst, really, aren't we? Sometimes, like there's maybe an act that of having to be really intentional about self-care rather than it being sort of expected and implied.
Yeah,
So it makes a difference, doesn't it, when you're really proactive and really lean into things.
Yeah, you've got to, and you kind of have to work at it as well, don't you? Like, you can't just let it slide. Like, again, like I've got different things that I do depending on my emotional energy. Whether I need something that's a bit more intense or whether I need something that's really gentle, you know, that's kind of always chopping and changing what I'm doing. There's always different options there depending on what I need.
Yeah, that sounds good. So what's next for you? What are you excited about?
I'm very excited about the next Power of Three event, which I guess is not something that I've talked about. Like, I am 1/3 of Power of Three events, so it's myself, Emily, and Sam. In October, we've got an event coming up called Rested, Connected, and Grateful. I'm so excited about it because it's my favorite time of year. It's like really kind of giving people a chance to slow down and to get ready and prepare for winter. I keep saying it's the preparation for hibernation, and I can't stop saying it.
But yeah, I love that. It's that kind of that bridge between sort of the autumn time and winter time. It's like feels like a perfect time where like the clocks go back. I have to do the little rhyme. The clocks go back, and you know it gets dark, and So what's that going to be like then?
So it's a day for anybody who just needs a little bit of kind of help in slowing down. Maybe help's not the right word, but we've got some creativity, we've got some forest therapy, we're going to make a soup all together and some bread, so there's going to be this real kind of sense of community. There's self-care rituals, there's EcoNidra, there's Reiki, there's tea ceremony. It's just like a wonderful day full of all the stuff that you want to be doing on those cozy autumn days, like appreciating the outside, but also doing the things inside as well, being able to feel snuggly and cozy and coming together as a group of people. So that's going to be a really amazing day, I think. And then I may have like a flash offer coming out in the next week, just as another way to work with me, because there's so many offerings, but that is more about it'll be a group program that will run for a few months, and it's all about finding yourself and finding your space by using nature, appreciating nature, and finding your own path. It's called Walk Your Own Path. I did kind of like try to launch this in July, but things in my personal life just went completely wrong, and I didn't have the energy to put into what this program needed at the time. So I've kind of rejigged it a little bit, because going through what I went through, actually nature was there for me, and I feel really compelled to make sure that this goes out, because it's been so helpful for me. I think it can be really helpful for other people when you're feeling a little bit lost, a little bit stuck, not really knowing where to go. Hopefully help people find the way.
And it makes so much difference, doesn't it? Just like stepping back when you need to, and then stepping back back and forwards, and like it feels like you're modeling that for other people. That sense of, the timing doesn't feel right for me, that's okay. It doesn't mean I have to not do it. I'm not stopping. I'm just like maybe postponing things, pausing a little bit, and then leaning back into it and going all in when the energy is there. And that fits really well with me as well, of times when my energy levels haven't really been haven't allowed me to feel aligned with my offers or aligned with what I'm talking about in my messaging, because it's maybe just, hang on a minute, it's not working right now. But it doesn't mean that it's not right. It just means that there's the timing. So yeah, it'd be good to hear more about that when you've got all those things together, and I'm sure like people will be able to sort of ask any questions that they've got. It sounds like you've got chance for people to, and just from what I know of you, like to work with you like really in person, like one-to-one, like in depth, that at whatever depth they want, to be really supported, and then have those touch points where at different levels, and then sometimes being like much more connected with other people, sometimes being much like connected in a group, and for a longer period of time. So there's lots of choice for people. So, and I think
it always sounds really complicated, doesn't it, because there's so many different things, but I just want to make things accessible for people at different stages of their life. And I'm always open to putting something bespoke out there for people as well. So if you're looking and what you see doesn't quite fit, like, do drop me a message, and there's things that can be done, that can be created. So
yeah, because like you said about maybe people finding a space in nature that matches an energy that they're wanting, or that feels nice for them, that kind of works for them. The same can apply for a service or an offer. And being self-aware can help. Somebody will be aware of if they're ready for something more personalized, or if they're wanting to try out what it's like to do like some of the forest therapy, guided walk, or and actually those kind of things don't have as much commitment as the other things. So for someone that is self-aware, that decision might be a lot easier than somebody that isn't quite sure. But anyone that's listening, go and stalk all Claire's stuff and have a watch of all the videos and all those kind of things, and she'll be able to talk to you about at what point you might want to do something more. And sometimes you know though, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
So is there anything that we haven't spoke? I mean, there's always more to talk about, isn't there? But is there anything that we haven't spoke about today that you'd like to kind of mention or think about?
I don't know. I think we've covered everything, unless we mention the webinar that we're doing together.
Oh yeah, so we are doing a webinar. This might be out before then. We might have done the webinar before this is out, because I think it's like in terms of timing and editing and things. But actually, we are doing a webinar, and it's for World Childless Week. And so actually, depending on the timing of this, it would be either for you to join the webinar or to watch the replay. So, yeah, and that's a nice thing for us to do together, isn't it?
Yeah, bringing art and nature together.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And what are you grateful for right now?
I hate when people put me on the spot like that.
I'm grateful for being put on the spot.
I'm grateful for the connections that I've got, that I've been kind of working hard to solidify. Especially with yourself as well. Like,
that's really good. Yeah,
really helpful to have those, and important to have them, I think, when you're self-employed, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Networking and social things, and just space to fill your cup, and just to feel that you're not alone. And with that in mind, if people were wanting to connect with you and to see more, where would the best place be to find you?
Instagram, I'm on there at Inside Nature Wellbeing with underscores in between. So inside underscore nature underscore wellbeing. Also on Facebook at Inside Nature Wellbeing, no underscores. Or just drop me an email, Claire at insidenaturewellbeing.co.uk.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Claire, for coming on and talking with me about everything that you do. It's been really lovely to catch up, and I hope that if you've been listening along, that you found this useful, interesting, or you've learned something, or you've just had that extra little prompt to go out and step out in nature, and not just walk in nature, but really slow down and become aware of what's going on for you inside, as well as being aware of what's going on the outside. So thanks for listening, everyone, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.